Michael, tell me if I'm wrong here. If you've done the work ahead of time, you've done the preparation, and you're presenting what you're supposed to be presenting, and you feel like you've messed up, the audience doesn't even know.
Yeah. And that gets into what's the conversation going on in your own head.
Your own
what's
head,
your mindset, right? Because for me, one of the first things I do when I teach any kind of presentation skills class, I get people to look at mindset, right? And so there's kind of 4 different levels. You could be an avoider of presenting. You could be an acceptor, where you do it as part of your job, but you don't love it, or you can be a seeker, right? And really love to do it. Now, if you're on the avoiding end of the scale, if you don't want to be there, your audience knows you don't want to be there.
Yes.
So how do you change the conversation in your head to make it so that you're at least, more of an acceptor, right? Because, and each conversation or each topic may cause you to shift on that scale somewhere. You might be, a seeker on the topic you really love to talk about, but you might be an avoider on something where you don't want to talk about it. And so the first thing to know is, where is my mind currently? Is the conversation in my mind like, oh no, I don't want to do this. This is not going to go well. Then you're setting yourself up to not have it go well. But if you can catch yourself having that conversation and change it into, I am going to do well with this. And another mistake is people like, I need to make it perfect, right? And there's perfectionists out there. I promise you, in your career, you will never deliver the perfect presentation. I mean, in your lifetime, I've given thousands of them. Something goes off in every single one of them.
Every time.
One time I was presenting to an executive board in a hospital, and in the middle of my presentation, everything was going great. All of a sudden, all their beepers went off, and they all got up and left the room. And I'm just standing there in an empty room, like, what just happened? Like, I had no idea. And it turned out some kind of code happened, and they all responded to it, and they all came back about 5 minutes later. But I mean, how do you respond to that? And then you have to get your mind back in it, because you just had everyone rush out of your room, and now you got to get your head back in the game.
Yeah.
So that ability to control the conversation in your head is critical. And the first way to avoid that is to acknowledge, I will never give the perfect presentation, and that's not even my goal. My goal is to be authentic in how I present and be articulate in how I present it, and let it flow the way that it needs to flow. Because if you try to memorize it, that's when your brain starts to say, oh no, I didn't say it exactly the way I wanted to. And the audience wouldn't even have noticed it if you didn't have that in your head, right?